Hello and welcome to the 7th part of this course. In this part we are going to make it possible to add movies to the database. We can begin by adding the Add Movie button up here. So if you go to the code and into app.vue, you can go to the top and under here we say p class control button click show movie form equals not show movie form. Class button is primary add movie. So when we click this button we want to set this variable to false or true. So next thing will be to add this variable to the data array. So if you scroll down here we just say show movie form false. Then we can scroll up and copy the code we did last time to add show the modal for the category form. We just copy this, paste it under, and this we only want to show if show movie form is true. Inside here we also need to replace this with the correct variable. If we can save this now and go back and try. Click on add movie and the same form from last time is showing. But it's calling the wrong function, so we need to change that. So go back to the code and change add category to add movie. Then we can scroll down and create the add movie function. Const movie, and that can just be empty for now. When we are adding the movie, we also need to show a drop down here to select the category, so we need to make it possible. If you go to dashboard.vue, we can copy this Firestore function here, go back to Vue, and paste it under the data array here. We can also copy this categories array there. So when this view is loaded, we get the categories from Firebase. Okay, so if we scroll up here under the title, you can say div class field, and in here we say select the model category. We have not created this yet, so we need to do that too. And option v4, we need to iterate through the categories. We say value category.id. We need to make this to an expression, so we bind this by doing this. And here we say category.title and close the option tag. So now we need to add this to the data array. So down here we say category, we can just call it empty, and on top here we can say option value empty selected, choose category, and save. So if we click add movie now, we should see the categories we added last time and an input field. So now we need to make sure that one of these two are selected and that this is not empty. So if we go back to the add movie function, and here we can say if this.title and this.category not equals empty. else alert, you have to fill out all the fields. Inside here we can say title, this.title. So now we need to add this to a child of this collection. So if I just go in Spring and say Firebase, add to a child collection, then I can say database.collection and get it using the project ID .collection. So here I say db.collection categories.doc this.category, because that is selected when we choose from this list. .collection movies .add movie, and that's it. Under here I want to empty the title and reset the selection field. This.title, this.category equals empty, this.show movie form is false, so we're hiding the form too. I see I wrote an error here, it should be add movie. We also need one more field for pasting the URL. So up here I can say URL empty, and we need to add this field. Here we can say URL. We can also add a placeholder, title, placeholder, URL. And in here I say URL this.url. We also need to reset the URL field, so we just say this.url equals nothing, and save. So if I now go back to the code to test this, I should be able to add a movie. So if I first just go to YouTube to copy link address, add movie, and just say tutorial, paste the code, and add it to documentaries, and add. I can open up my Firebase to see that this was working. So if I just select categories and select the category I added to, there's been a child collection now, so I can click movies, document, and it's tutorial, and the URL I pasted. So now we need a function to get this data and show it here. So if I go back to the code again, for each of these categories in this list, I'm going to create a component. So the first thing I can do is to create a new file. I can just call it tab movie.vue, create a template. It can just be empty for now. Under I add a script tag and import db from main, export default, name tab movie, data, return movies, empty array, and I want to use the Firestore movies and just say db.collection. I want to use the categories collection, and I want to get the category we are in, so I just say doc this.props.category. We need to add this props, so up here I say props category, and it should be a string. Dot collection movies. So I get the movies collection from the categories, just like I showed in Firebase. So up here I can say div, can just be a div like that. In dashboard.vue I'm going to import this component I just created. Tab movie from components tab movie dot view. Down here I say components, tab movie, and under the div here I can say tab movie v4 category in categories, and I need to use a key so Vue will know which node I'm working on. So I say I bind key to category.id, and I also want to pass in the category ID to the child. So here I say category.id, and I close the tab movie. And in here I can print props.category just to see that it's passed in correctly. And I need to close the script tag down here. Save. If I go back to the browser now, you see the two categories are listed here. These are the IDs. So now inside these two components we need to list the movies. So I go to tab movie. I can say ul v4 movie in movies, movie.title. And I see the tutorial, that was the movie I added earlier. I'm going to use a card from Bulma to show the videos, so I can just copy all of this code and go back here, and instead of this I can first remove, clean it up a little bit, and in here I say v4 movie in movies, and I want to use the key again, movie.id. Here I can print the title again, movie.title. If I go back to the code to test this, it's filling up the whole screen, but that's okay for now. This can be class columns, and instead of just card, I say column is 4. So it just take up 1/4 of the screen. I want this to go over multiple lines, so I need to add is multi-line up here and save. Next, instead of showing this image, I want to show the video there. So I can remove this image. So in here I say iframe src movie.url width 100%, and height can be 200. Close the iframe. I need to bind the src to the movie URL and save. If I go back here now, there should be an error here because we can't just embed this URL, so we need to pull this ID from the URL. Okay, and remove this figure first, and I need to convert this into a method. So here I say embeddable because we want to convert it to an embeddable URL. Under Firestore I say methods embeddable URL, and I pass in the URL, and in return I get this link, youtube.com embed plus this url.split equals. So I split the URL in two parts at the equal sign, and I get the part that's after equal. So if I save now and go back to the browser, the movie should be embedded here on top with the title under. And that was it for this part. Now it's possible to add movies to different categories, and the next part we are going to make it possible to switch between these categories, so it's only showing the movies that are connected to it. The newest tab will also just be showing the 6 newest movies.